The difference between a person who merely uses AI and a person who knows how to direct it. Day 2. Master General Prompting Strategies. The Prompt Catalyst. Free 7-day prompt coaching 1-hour practical seminar presentation. Theme. Stop copying prompts. Learn how to think, build and refine them. Opening. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Day 2 of the Prompt Catalyst. Free 7-day prompt coaching. Yesterday, we began with something fundamental, understanding the power of prompting. We discovered that artificial intelligence is powerful, but the quality of what we receive often depends on the quality of what we ask. Today, we are moving one step further. Today is not about collecting 20 beautiful prompts from the internet. It is not about memorizing complicated words. It is not about becoming dependent on somebody else's prompt. Today is about learning how to think when you are prompting AI. Because if you only copy prompts, you can use AI. But when you understand prompting strategies, you can create prompts for almost anything. And that is the difference between a person who merely uses AI and a person who knows how to direct it. So I want you to pay attention because today's lesson may change the way you approach every AI conversation from this point forward. Let me begin with a question. If I give you a powerful prompt today, what happens tomorrow when you face a completely different problem? If you only memorize the prompt, you may be stuck. But if you understand the strategy behind the prompt, you can build another one. That is what we are learning today. Our goal is simple. I don't want you to leave here with somebody else's prompts. I want you to leave here with your own prompting method. Part 1. What is a prompting strategy? Time. 0 to 7 minutes. A prompt is an instruction you give to AI. A prompting strategy is the method you use to construct that instruction. Think about cooking. Someone can give you a recipe for jollof rice. You can follow that recipe exactly. But what happens when you want to prepare fried rice, or soup, or a meal with ingredients you have never used before? If all you know is the recipe, you are limited. But if you understand cooking principles, you can adapt. Prompting works the same way. You do not need to memorize thousands of prompts. You need to understand the building blocks. The major strategies we will learn today include assigning roles, providing context, identifying the audience, controlling tone, controlling style, specifying format, breaking complex tasks into steps, asking AI to analyze, asking AI to compare, asking AI to simplify, asking AI to expand, refining the response, checking assumptions, giving feedback, asking for alternatives. These strategies can be combined, and when you combine them intelligently, your prompts become significantly more powerful. Part 2. Assign IA role. Time. 7 to 12 minutes. One of the simplest ways to improve a prompt is to tell AI who you want it to act as. For example, instead of saying, write a marketing plan, you could say, act as an experienced Nigerian book marketing strategist and develop a practical marketing plan for a newly published Christian book. Look at what happened. You gave AI a role. You changed the perspective from which it approaches the task. You can say, act as a teacher, act as a business consultant, act as an editor, act as a publishing strategist, act as a career coach, act as a storyteller, act as a Bible teacher, act as a social media strategist, act as a university lecturer, act as a critical reviewer. But there is an important lesson here. Do not assign a role simply because it sounds impressive. The role must serve the task. If you want AI to edit your manuscript, an editor's perspective is useful. If you want a marketing campaign, a marketing strategist is useful. If you want a children's story, a children's literature specialist may be useful. The question should always be, what perspective would help AI perform this task better? Practical exercise. Take this week prompt. Write something about leadership. Now transform it. Try. Act as an experienced leadership trainer. Write a practical teaching on leadership for young African entrepreneurs who are leading teams for the first time. Immediately, The task becomes clearer. Your turn. Ask yourself, who should AI become to help me solve this problem? That question alone can transform your prompting. Part 3. Give AI context. Time. 12 to 17 minutes. The second strategy is context. Context answers the question, what does AI need to know before it can give me a useful answer? Imagine walking into a doctor's office and saying, "Doctor, help me." The doctor will probably ask, what happened? What are you experiencing? When did it begin? What have you tried? Why? Because without context, the professional cannot properly understand the situation. AI works similarly. Consider this prompt. Write a book introduction. That is incomplete. What book? Who wrote it? Who is the audience? What is the subject? What tone should it have? What is the purpose? Now compare. I am writing a Christian book for young adults about discovering purpose in a rapidly changing world. The book is practical, motivational and rooted in Christian principles. Write a compelling introduction that begins with a relatable real-life situation, creates curiosity and encourages the reader to continue. That is context. Practical formula. When giving context, think background plus situation plus purpose. Tell AI, here is what is happening. Here is what you need to know. Here is what I am trying to achieve. The more important the task, the more useful relevant context becomes. But remember, more information is not automatically better information. Give AI the information that actually matters. Part 4. Define your audience. Time. 17 to 21 minutes. Here is one of the biggest mistakes people make. They tell AI what to write but fail to tell AI who will read it. Audience changes everything. You would not explain artificial intelligence to a 5-year-old the same way you would explain it to a software engineer. You would not preach to children exactly as you would teach pastors. You would not write a business proposal to an investor in the same way you would write a social media post for teenagers. So tell AI, who is this for? For example, write a 500-word article explaining personal branding to university students in Nigeria who have never studied marketing. That is much stronger than, explain personal branding. You can specify age, profession, experience level, location, knowledge level, needs, interests, problems, expectations, practical challenge. Take. Explain prompting. Transform it into explain prompting to Nigerian secondary school students who have never used generative AI. Use simple language, everyday examples and practical exercises. Now the answer has a destination. When you know the audience, you can choose the language. Part 5. Control tone and style. Time. 21 to 26 minutes. Now we come to tone and style. Tone is how the message feels. Style is how the message is expressed. You can ask for professional, friendly, conversational, inspirational, persuasive, academic, humorous, emotional, bold, simple, cinematic, story-driven, thought-provoking, authoritative, warm, but do not simply say, make it good. Good means different things to different people. Instead say, use a warm, conversational and encouraging tone. Or, use a professional but persuasive tone suitable for potential investors. Or, use a simple, energetic and practical teaching style suitable for beginners. Style control. You can also tell AI how you want the writing to sound. For example, use short paragraphs, strong transitions, practical examples and occasional rhetorical questions. Or, write in British English. Or, avoid unnecessary jargon. Or, use African examples where appropriate. This is important because you are not only asking AI what to say, you are teaching it how you want it to say it. Part 6. Specify the format. Time. 26 to 31 minutes. Sometimes the problem is not the information. The problem is the format. If you ask, give me information about book marketing, I may produce several paragraphs. But perhaps what you really need is a strategy. So tell it, Give me a 10-step book marketing strategy in numbered format. You can request bullet points, numbered lists, tables, checklists, lesson plans, scripts, sermon outlines, social media captions, FAQs, case studies, step-by-step instructions, comparison charts, executive summaries, reports, timelines, action plans, practical example week. Tell me about starting a business. Better. Create a practical 10-step guide for starting a small publishing business in Nigeria. Present it as a numbered action plan and include the first action I should take, possible challenges and practical solutions for each step. Do you see the difference? The first prompt asks for information. The second asks for a usable tool. That is what we want. Part 7. Break complex tasks into smaller steps. Time. 31 to 37 minutes. This is one of the most powerful strategies in prompting. If a task is complex, do not throw everything at AI at once. Break it down. Suppose you say, write my entire 200-page book, create the marketing strategy, design the launch campaign and create social media content. That is a huge request. Instead, divide it. Step 1. Help me clarify the central message of my book. Step 2. Develop the target audience. Step 3. Create a compelling table of contents. Step 4. Develop the main argument of each chapter. Step 5. Write chapter 1 based on the approved outline. Step 6. Review chapter 1 for clarity, coherence and consistency. Step 7. Create a marketing strategy based on the finished book. That is a workflow, the golden principle. Complex problems become easier when you turn them into smaller problems. You can ask AI, do not complete everything at once. Take me through this process step by step. This is particularly useful for books, business plans, courses, research, marketing campaigns, websites, training programs, sermons, strategic plans, content calendars, large projects, practical exercise. Take this. Help me start a business. Break it into. Identify the business idea. Define the customer. Identify the problem. Develop the product. Analyze competitors. Determine pricing. Create a marketing strategy. Create an operations plan. Create a financial plan. Develop a launch strategy. You have just turned one vague request into a structured project. Part 8. Ask AI to analyze. Time. 37 to 41 minutes. AI is not only useful for generating. It can also help you analyze. Instead of, write a business idea. Try, analyze this business idea. Identify its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, risks and unanswered questions. You can ask AI to analyze a business idea, a manuscript, an argument, a proposal, a marketing campaign, a speech, a strategy, a decision, a piece of writing, a problem. Practical prompt. Analyze the following business proposal. Identify its strongest point, weakest point, major risks, assumptions that need verification and 3 ways it could be improved. That is much more useful than simply asking AI, is this good? Because, is this good? Encourages a simple answer. Analysis forces the conversation deeper. Part 9. Ask AI to compare. Time. 41 to 44 minutes. Another powerful strategy is comparison. When you have 2 or more possibilities, ask AI to compare them against clear criteria. For example, compare self-publishing and traditional publishing for a first-time Nigerian author. Evaluate them based on cost, control, speed, distribution, royalties, marketing responsibility and long-term benefits. Notice something important. You did not simply say, which is better. You created criteria, the formula. Compare plus criteria plus context plus recommendation. You can ask. Compare these 3 options. Score each from 1 to 10 against the following criteria and explain the reasoning behind each score. Then recommend the option that best fits my stated goal. This is far more powerful than asking, which one is best? Because sometimes there is no universally best option. There is only the option that best fits your situation. Part 10. Ask AI to simplify. Time. 44 to 47 minutes. Sometimes AI gives you an answer that is technically correct but difficult to understand. Do not throw away the answer. Refine it. Say, explain this in simple language. Or, explain this as if I am a complete beginner. Or, use an everyday Nigerian example. Or, explain this to a 12-year-old without losing the important meaning. Or, remove unnecessary technical language. This is a critical prompting skill. You can ask AI to change the level of complexity without changing the central idea. Practical example. AI says, prompt engineering involves the optimization of natural language instructions to influence model behavior. You can say, explain that to someone who has never heard the phrase prompt engineering. I may respond, prompt engineering simply means learning how to give clear instructions to AI so that it produces the kind of result you need. Same idea, different level, that is prompting. Part 11. Ask AI to expand. Time. 47 to 49 minutes. The opposite is also important. Sometimes AI gives you something too short. You can ask it to expand. But do not simply say, make it longer. Tell it what kind of expansion you need. For example, expand this explanation by adding 3 practical examples, 1 Nigerian business example, 1 common mistake and a short exercise. Or, develop this section into a detailed teaching. Add explanations, examples, applications and a practical activity while keeping the original message. That preserves your original idea while increasing its usefulness. Important. Expansion should not mean repetition. Tell AI. Expand the content without unnecessarily repeating the same point. That single instruction can improve the result significantly. Part 12. Never accept the first answer as the final answer. Time. 49 to 54 minutes. Now we come to one of the most important lessons of today's seminar. Your first prompt does not have to produce your final answer. This is where many people misunderstand AI. They ask one question. AI responds. They copy the response. Finished. But prompting is better understood as a conversation and refinement process. Think about a sculptor. The sculptor does not look at a rough piece of stone and say, that's it. The sculptor removes, shapes, examines, adjusts, refines, then examines again. Your interaction with AI can work the same way. You can say, this is good, but the introduction is too ordinary. Make it more compelling. Then, the second section feels repetitive. Rewrite it with stronger progression. Then, add a practical example. Then, make the language simpler. Then, strengthen the conclusion. Then, review the entire piece for coherence. You are no longer simply asking AI to write. You are directing the development of the work. Part 13. Give AI feedback. Time. 54 to 57 minutes. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is learning to give useful feedback. Do not say, I don't like it. Tell AI why. For example, the content is informative, but it sounds too academic. Make it warmer and more conversational. Or, the ideas are strong, but the flow is weak. Improve the transitions between sections. Or, the introduction gives away too much information. Create curiosity without revealing the conclusion. Or, the message is good, but it does not sound like my voice. Keep my central message and make the language natural, direct and authentic. This is especially important for writers. I should assist your voice, not erase your voice. You can instruct it, improve the flow, structure, clarity and coherence of this writing without losing my original voice, message or intention. That is a powerful editing instruction. Part 14. The Universal Prompting Framework. Time. 57 to 59 minutes. Now I want to give you a framework you can use after today's session. Remember this. R. Role: who should AI act as? C. Context: what does AI need to know? Audience: who is the final reader, listener or user? T. Task: what exactly do you want AI to do? T. Tone: how should the response sound? F. Format: how should the answer be presented? C. Constraints: what must AI include, avoid or obey? R. Refine: how will you improve the first response? You can remember it as role right pointing arrow, context right pointing arrow, audience right pointing arrow, task right pointing arrow, tone right pointing arrow, format right pointing arrow, constraints right pointing arrow. REFINE. Let's build one together. Example. Act as an experienced Nigerian publishing consultant. I am helping first-time authors understand how to publish their books. The audience is aspiring Nigerian authors with little publishing experience. Create a practical teaching explaining the major publishing options available to them. Use simple British English, a confident and encouraging tone, Nigerian examples where relevant, clear headings and numbered steps. Compare the options based on cost, control, speed, distribution and marketing responsibility. Avoid unnecessary jargon. End with a practical action plan. After writing, review your response and identify 3 areas that could be made clearer. That is not a complicated prompt, but it contains direction, and direction is the heart of prompting. Part 15, Live Practical Challenge. Time: 59 to 60 minutes. Now I want everyone to participate. Take a simple request. Help me promote my business. Do not submit that yet. We are going to build it. Step 1. Role: act as a Nigerian digital marketing strategist. Step 2. Context: I run a small publishing and writing business that provides editing, ghostwriting, book formatting, cover design and publishing support. Step 3. Audience: my target customers are aspiring authors, ministers, entrepreneurs and professionals who want to publish books. Step 4. Task: create a practical 30-day marketing strategy. Step 5. Tone: make it practical, persuasive and easy for a small business owner to implement. Step 6. Format: present it as a day-by-day action plan. Step 7. Constraints: prioritize low-cost strategies and organic marketing. Step 8. Refine: after creating the plan, identify the 5 most important actions and explain why they should be prioritized. Now look at what happened. We started with, help me promote my business, and we ended with a structured strategic instruction. That is the transformation I want you to learn. Final teaching: stop copying prompts. My friends, I want you to remember one thing from today's session. The goal is not to become a collector of prompts. The goal is to become a designer of instructions. You will see beautiful prompts online. Use them, study them, learn from them, but do not become permanently dependent on them. Ask, why does this prompt work? What role did it assign? What context did it provide? Who is the audience? What task was requested? What tone was specified? What format was requested? What constraints were given? How could I adapt this for my own situation? That is when you begin developing prompting intelligence. Because the same strategy that creates a good prompt for writing can help you create a prompt for business. The same strategy can help you teach. It can help you research. It can help you plan. It can help you market. It can help you organize ideas. It can help you analyze decisions. It can help you create. And suddenly, I stops being a mysterious machine that gives random answers. You begin to see it as a powerful assistant that responds to clear direction. But there is one final secret. Do not be afraid to correct the I. If the answer is weak, refine the instruction. If the tone is wrong, correct the tone. If the audience is wrong, redefine the audience. If the structure is weak, restructure it. If the answer is incomplete, ask for expansion. If the answer is too complicated, simplify it. If the answer is inaccurate or based on an assumption, question it and ask for clarification or verification. The first response is not the destination. It is the beginning of the conversation. Day 2 Key Takeaways. Before you leave today's session, remember these 10 principles. 1. Give AI a role. Tell it what perspective would be useful. 2. Give it context. Do not make it guess what matters. 3. Define your audience. Tell AI who the message is for. 4. Control the tone. Tell it how the response should feel. 5. Control the style. Tell it how you want the message expressed. 6. Specify the format. Tell it what the final output should look like. 7. Break complex tasks into smaller steps. Do not overwhelm one prompt with an entire project. 8. Ask AI to analyze, compare, simplify and expand. AI is not only a writing machine. 9. Refine the response. Do not automatically accept the first answer. 10. Develop your own prompting method. Learn the principles behind effective prompts. Your Day 2 practical assignment. Before tomorrow's session, choose one real task you need AI to help you accomplish. It could be writing a book, creating a business plan, preparing a sermon, developing a lesson, marketing a product, writing social media content, planning an event, analyzing an idea, creating a proposal, solving a personal productivity problem. Now build your prompt using role, context, audience, task, tone, format, constraints, then submit the prompt to AI. Read the answer. Do not stop there. Ask, what is missing? What is unclear? What sounds unnatural? What could be stronger? Then refine your prompt. Do this at least 3 times. You are not simply testing AI. You are training yourself. Closing. Yesterday, we learned that the quality of the instruction affects the quality of the result. Today, we have gone deeper. We have learned that powerful prompting is not about finding magical words. It is about thinking clearly, communicating clearly and refining intelligently. Tomorrow, we will take another step. We will move from general prompting strategies into practical prompting for writing, content creation and communication. So do not miss it. Bring your questions. Bring your failed prompts. Bring the prompts that produced terrible answers. Bring the ideas you want to develop. Because sometimes the most valuable prompt is not the one that produced the perfect answer. Sometimes it is the one that taught you how to ask a better question. And that is the heart of the prompt catalyst. Do not copy the prompt. Understand the principle. Do not chase the answer. Learn how to direct the process. Do not become dependent on prompts created by others. Become capable of creating your own. Thank you for joining Day 2 of the Prompt Catalyst, free 7-day prompt coaching. If you enjoyed today's lecture, share the link, invite your friends and loved ones, and make sure they join us for the next session. Your prompting journey has only just begun. Day 2.